したいとで読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているキスしたいとで読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているしたいとで読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているキスしたいとで読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているで読み直している 読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているエキスしたい人で読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているしたい人で読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているエキスしたい人で読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているで読み直している したいとで読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているキスしたいとで読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているしたいとで読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み直しているキスしたいとで読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているで読み直している
A city of makers, entrepreneurs, musicians, artists. A city of laughter, memories, and people who will welcome others in with a cup of heartwarming handmade coffee. A city of people, young and old, working together. People who explore, live, and grow together. But what makes this place special? Being listed year after year as one of the best places to raise a family. Maybe because we have a community recognized for its safe neighborhoods and revered for its low unemployment. A city where adventure is everywhere you look, where you can pioneer your own story. We've opened a new page to write on for the generations ahead. Welcome to Bismarck. Come write your story.
Woo-woo! Good morning, Cuppers. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. My name is Jackie Stebbins, and apparently there was absolutely no one on earth available to MC today. So poor Janya had to be like, oh, dear Jackie. So here I am. Here we are. Let us gather and drink coffee and share ideas. So any first-timers here today to 1 Million Cups, raise those hands. Yay, Chantel the presenter. No one else? Yay. Well, welcome, Chantel. Glad you could be here today. So for the rest of you, you know what we're doing. We're drinking coffee, lots of it, getting closer to that 1 Million Cups every Wednesday morning. Big thanks to our sponsors, great people who allow us to be here, turn lights on, and I hope the lights are good. How's my hair, guys? We good? Nice lights? Look at that, I love them. And we have coffee, so thanks to everyone. If you see them, thank you all so much. Wow, look at this. There's Clark the Lark, BSC, a lot of people in the audience here from sponsors. Thanks so much. So, a couple thoughts before we get to Chantel. Today, John even made a slide, National Deviled Egg Day. How awesome is this? So I got up, was boiling my kids some eggs because there's nothing to eat every morning, and every night. Those of you that are with me, like, raise a hand. Yep, we all get it. We're all living it. So I boiled some eggs, and one was like, I don't like eggs. And then she wanted more. That's the morning. So I didn't devil them, though. Kind of sad I didn't. And put a green olive on top. It's a great way to eat them. The other one, okay, allow me my soapbox. It is National Stress Awareness Day today. In my former life, I was a trial lawyer. And in my new life, I do speaking and writing. And 90% of what I talk about is stress and the awful things that it can do to us and our health. So being aware is wonderful. I'm glad it's a day. Seriously, take it seriously. Stress is bad. We all know it. And stress as a trial lawyer was really bad for me. So something I think about a lot. All right, off the soapbox. We've already kind of talked about this. Free weekly program. We are talking about local businesses. We are celebrating community, such a fun thing to do each Wednesday. We're going to have time for Q&A at the end of Chantel's presentation to exchange those ideas and over our cup of joe. With that, some community announcements. Oh, whoa. First, we have to have that big takeaway of all around the nation, people are doing this. Can we change the face of our community over these cups of coffee and the exchange and connecting these entrepreneurs? So such a fun way to gather on a Wednesday. And we will have Q&A near the end. Announcements. All right, I think Lene is up first. With the Bismarck Arts and Galleries, it is known as Bega. Oh, you want to use that one? Yep.
I'm Mrs. Bega.
Mrs. Bega. Funny inside joke.
Inside joke. Good morning, everyone. I'm Lene Hansen, the Executive Director at Bismarck Art and Galleries Association. And we have two really amazing exhibits opening up. They're in the gallery right now, but they're opening up this Friday from 5 to 7. I want to tell you about Brad Bachmeyer, the potter. He's an instructor at Moorhead State, but he has a really interesting thing that he says here in his little brochure I want to read to you. His work is all about clay, and it says his motto is honoring humankind's ancient and universal partnership with clay. So when you walk into our gallery right now, it is completely transformed. There are sculptures all over the place. There are giant photographs that he's taken at national parks all across the United States, and all of his clay has a relationship with those photographs, and so it's unbelievable. You need to stop by. And then in the member gallery, we have Christy Little, who does amazing pastels. If you get a chance to look at them close up, you will see the finest details in every one of her pieces, and they're just amazing. So please come over on Friday from 5 to 7. And then the second thing we want to tell you about is a very special event that we have coming up on Thursday, November 17th from 6 to 9 at Aleworks. It's our general event called the Festival of the Arts, but this year we're making it a little bit more casual and a little bit more fun. We're doing it at Aleworks. We're having all kinds of German food. All the appetizers will be on the tables. We have amazing silent auction items, hand-painted artworks, and just all kinds of beautiful stuff. So make sure to join us for that. You can get your tickets at Baga or give us a call, and we'll take care of you there. Thank you so much.
Fun fact, if you call Bismarck Arts and Galleries Association and ask for Mr. Baga, and you're kind of serious, they won't think it's funny. Hypothetically, you might not think it's funny either. You might just be confused, hypothetically. All right, so fancy in flannel. Living in the 90s. Kayla, you hear me? The flannel? Yeah, so great. All right, and I believe this is Janya's announcement? No, it is... Oh, yay! Come on up. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Everybody get ready to spin the wheel and win a washing machine. Win a washing machine. I actually need a washing machine if anybody has one. Okay. So I'm Katie from the Loft on Main. I spoke a couple weeks ago. We are doing our first workshop training event, partnering with Shelly Ontis. With her marketing planner for entrepreneurs. We are doing a 4-part series, Burgers, Beer, and Marketing for a Year. We'll tackle your entire marketing plan for 2023 in a relaxed environment. We'll just kind of gather in the evenings. She has a 4-part series we'll focus on your goals, your social media, what you should be focusing on, which one, how you should be using it, the analytics, all of that, as well as actually creating your content and creating your schedule. We start November 29th, I believe it's a Tuesday. And it's every other Tuesday. We do take a break over the holidays just to allow you some time to do some homework and to enjoy your family during that time. And then we'll come back after the new year and get everything implemented and check on how it's doing and kind of do that hands-on approach to helping everybody get their marketing tackled for the year, at least to get that schedule out there. So we're starting off at the Loft. This will be our first workshop where we're kind of doing that relaxed environment. The meal and the beer will be provided as part of your tickets, and we have, it's $100 off if you register before November 15th. We are doing groups of 10 right now. We have 5 seats filled, so then we'll start a waiting list for a second group if we have that much interest, but it's actually pretty filling up fast, so. You can register on the Loft on Main's website on community.justustudiosnd.com, or you can go out to the link to the full event information. You can scan the QR code, and then the registration page is there as well. So you can go to either one and register for the workshop. Excellent, thank you. Now it is Janya. Yay.
Oh, and just quick pro trip. All of these get recorded and they're out on the 1MC Facebook page. So if you're sitting there going, oh, I should have written that down, just go watch the video again and then you can see Katie's information. All right. I'm probably not going to go through all of this in detail. I went through it last time. So mug clubbers, did people get mugged this morning? Yeah, okay, sweet. Any big winners this morning? Did anybody hit a big milestone that I missed? Oh, John's back there going, nope, no big milestones. Okay, but the really exciting thing is that we've got the Cappuccino and Collins gift cards now and the beans, and hopefully you saw like those big, beautiful bags of beans when you came in. So that's our new at 10 prize. And then 25 is still the 1MC t-shirt, or we are working with Clark the Lark, and Clark's getting on it, but we're gonna have some pretty cool, very special, very unique, only available here merch from the Larks at 25. Basically, I wanted to stand up and say, I don't know if you're any of my 1MC creamer users. Do I have some creamer users out there? I've got some folks out there that is just creamer with a touch of coffee, but we go through gallons of the stuff, but I don't know if you've noticed, but the selection has gotten really, really good, and that is thanks to our friends at Assure Home Mortgage. So thank you, Tanya and Angel. Woohoo! They are our new creamer sponsor, and they are going to keep us in creamer, and we're going to have way better choices than when I was getting the creamer. So you couple that with your cappuccinos on Collins, and life is good.
Question. Can we do retroactive for... Oh, okay. Well, she shot me down pretty quickly. All right, so never mind. I will aim for Clark the Lark's merch. All right, I think that's going to end it from me. And here we go. Chantel is going to come up and present to us about a really neat entrepreneurial activity she has going on. I think it involves sewing and children's clothing. So without further ado, Chantel Coons, come on up, please. You're the next contestant on 1 Million Cups.
Is it on? Can you hear me? There we go. Hi, I'm Chantel, and I own Tyke Threads. That's my little one. That's one of mine. So as of right now, I am a one-woman show. I am the creator, the founder, the seamstress, the social media manager, the financial guru, the website designer, and the wearer of all the hats. My girls over here, Nisi, Acacia, Hefzibah, and Sabella, are the ones that keep me going. They are my inspiration and often my models for all my rompers that I make. So a little about Tyke Threads. I started a little hobby business like almost 7 years ago, and it was just a way to make some side money. But what started out as something small turned into something way bigger than I had ever planned for. I was not planning something big. So in 2018, I rebranded my business to what is now Tyke Threads. And it grew from the idea that children need to be represented in the clothing community. There's a huge need for adaptable fashion, but it is grossly undervalued. And so my goal is to create as many adaptive options to make them affordable to the families who need them. So I often get asked, how did you get into this? Do you have kids with special needs? Do you have kids with feeding tubes? No, I do not. It was through finding models for my business that I came across first a little girl. She was about 1 year old, and her mom was trying to get her to be a model for some other small businesses. And they would pass her up because she had an oxygen tubes and a feeding tube. She couldn't stand, she couldn't walk, and they didn't want all those tubes in the pictures. It was thought to be distracting. So I said, nope, come here. I got you. You can be my model. And then I also encountered little Ari, who couldn't get modeled positions because she is a child with Down syndrome. She didn't have the feeding tube at that point, but now she does. And I said, no, come. I've got you. And it was through finding these families that I started talking to them. I said, okay, I know I don't know much about that world that you're in, but is there anything that I can do to help you clothing-wise, to make your life just a little bit easier? And that's kind of how our little Medi Pocket came to be. They would talk about how going out in public is hard to feed your kids without having to lift up their shirt, or like having to go back to the vehicle or whatever, that they needed some kind of option out there. And a lot of families have kids that are like older that are still in diapers, and a lot of times those kids will get into them if they have two-piece clothing, so the rompers were a great solution for that. So that's kind of how that started. So here's the product of what I currently make. So the Grow and Go romper is my most popular, so I only have that. Every now and then I do like dresses and other types of things just to throw out a new product for my customers. But and it features, everyone has an inseam zipper so that they can do easy diaper changes, snaps. Just, you're fumbling with snaps with a child who's moving. It's not always easy. And then all the rompers grow. So everything lasts up to 2, 3, sometimes 4 years, depending on how fast the child grows. So inside, there are cinches. You just untie this, release it down as they grow, and then tie it back up. Whoops, I am hitting this. And then they all have fold-over cuffs, the pants. For the long-sleeve ones, they'll be at the wrist cuffs as well. And then right now the Medi Pocket is optional, and it can be placed anywhere that they need it to be. So wherever their tube is or whatever they need it for. And I often get asked, so who wears the rompers? Is it just for kids with special needs? Is it just for kids that have medical tubes? No, they are for everyone. Anyone and everything, everyone. I have 4 kids. They all wear them. They love them, even my 9-year-old. And so I have 7 sizes that take you from preemie all the way up to about 14 youth. So the 7 sizes covers 16 sizes in regular children's clothes. Goals for my business. My next goal is to focus on growth, which I know means me finding alternative ways to produce my rompers. Right now it's just me sewing, and there's only so much I can sew. I also homeschool my kids, and I have another job on top of this. So there's only so much I can create at one time, and I know eventually I have to relinquish some of that control. But in February of 2019, I did attend a Sourcing at Magic conference in Las Vegas, where I was able to find an ethical and sustainable manufacturer in Bangladesh. I was able to send samples to them. They sent some back. I remodified some things to make it one seamless romper versus 2 or 3 different styles. And then after I sent those samples, COVID happened, and everything got lost. So I'm back at square one, which really severely deflated that balloon, because I was like, oh my God, I don't want to start all over. But I'm not sure if continuing the manufacturing side is the best choice right now with the current financial climate that we're in. So while I ponder all of that, my focus is on making connections, trying to find PTs, OTs, hospitals, educational teachers, special educational teachers, anyone that can help me get the word out to these families that need these rompers, both here and across the nation. So looking for points of contact is awesome. I'm doing a lot more arts and craft shows, also to try and reach out to the community that way as well. Also finding investors or financial gurus. I'm not a financial guru. I do not have a degree in business. I'm learning everything as I go. And every time I tell people what I do, they tell me to go on Shark Tank. But I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of prep. And I'm not sure if that's the best step for me. So I'm just trying to find guidance in that area of what I should do next. Also, trying to make these rompers more affordable. So an unfortunate part of working with families in the medical community is they face so many more expenses than your average family. They have to purchase wheelchairs, adaptive seats, accessible vehicles, diapers, formula, feeding tubes, all this stuff. And not everything is covered by insurance. Like, it's a little sad that they have to put out so much money for the things that their child needs. So the last thing I want is to add to that financial burden. So I've been trying to make these affordable. I've been selling at wholesale price, and even probably less than that, just because I don't want to place that burden on them too much. So nearly every penny that I make goes back into the business, and I would love to find other ways to make these affordable or at least accessible, whether it's finding a way that they can use like their SSI funds to purchase them, which I think they have to be classified as a medical device then in order to do that. And I don't know the contacts or any way to get that done. Or some kind of scholarship or like donate a romper type program. I'm not quite sure yet, but finding ways to make it affordable for all. So here, if you need to, here's all my info to connect with me after today. And yeah, there we go.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Looks like Kayla has the big orange mic and will be the mic runner, so go ahead and please raise your hand if you have a question. I'm going to start, Chantel, what a beautiful presentation. And, I read the email yesterday and saw children's rompers, and I thought, hey, this is a mom who is a mom like me who just wants to keep small children in their pajamas all day because it's easier.
It is.
Right? And the day you bring home like this tiny baby and someone's giving you this beautiful gift of like a snap onesie, you're like, what kind of devil person made this? Because it's in the middle of the night and you can't see. Zippers are easier. Pro tip. So here I am kind of thinking this presentation is going to go one way, and oh my gosh, what a beautiful, beautiful origin story of how, this vision of it's a side hobby, this is kind of fun, you're obviously a very good seamstress, but wait a minute, there's needs for kids with special needs. So I love, the origin story is absolutely beautiful. But one of the things I would maybe lead off with is at the end you talked about, well, to me, the stress awareness lady, it kind of comes back to balance. I love what you're doing, but you can only wear so many hats. And I absolutely love that you want to make it easier for people that have enough hurdles financially, emotionally. But how are you going to be able to find that balance so you can provide such a wonderful product, but that you can still, be compensated and not just put every penny back into the business and keep sweating it out?
Yes, I think about that daily. The amount of times that I have wanted to walk away from this business is insane. But, my customers just keep bringing me back. And I do think about that. Over the time, I have risen prices as I go on. I'm like, okay, I have to. And this last collection I did, I raised them a couple dollars to kind of help offset a little. But I know going forward, that is going to be probably my biggest hurdle.
Oh, Joe's got the mic.
Good morning. Thank you for your presentation. My wife and I, we are very familiar with your product. We use it for our I don't know how many Joey has. We've got ones that are basic, similar to what you have on your display. We've got ones that look like cable knit type material, and so they're very well done. The one thing when Trish had mentioned about it, it was like, oh, how much do they cost? But when you look at how much they are able to grow with that particular outfit, really you're saving a lot of money. So I think you do have some room there as somebody who's trying to save as many pennies as possible. You can even tell my wife I said that.
I'm going to.
But I think the one thing with my son is he's tiny. He was a preemie. It was a great product where he could be fitted to it, and that was a hard thing, was trying to find that. So how are you marketing? I know you do a lot of great things. If you talk a little bit about how you're marketing it, not just to those in the special needs community, but just in general for, because they're great for a hyperactive kid. His doctor said, oh, he's going to be full of ADHD. So how are you marketing, getting that word out right now?
My main source is, social media. I haven't done too many sponsored, paying for advertising. Just, I'm not a marketing person. I'm just kind of learning. I'm probably have to go to that marketing thing because I mean, that's what I know I need to work on that. Because I'll go through times where I'm making sure I post every day on Facebook and Instagram and all the things. And then I'll go through a phase where I'm not posting at all, because it seems like a lot of those social media, to me, it hasn't helped me grow at all. So it almost seems like it's too much. And just, where you talked about that stress, where I'm like, okay, what can I drop the ball on where it won't hurt me too much? So, and I guess right now too, the shows that I go to is kind of a way that I'm trying to market and get the word out.
Dawn's got the hot mic.
I do. Thanks for being here. This is really great. I've been following your page for a while, and I think this is really fantastic, just because it is so all-inclusive. Whether kids are, the average child, or they do have the different needs. It's really fantastic. So a couple things. One, we have street fair in September, so you should look at being a vendor there. Two, beyond that, if you are still looking for manufacturing, there is a company, or it's an organization, it's a nonprofit in Illinois called Renew, and I can share that information with you. But what they do is they support new Americans and refugees that have settled in that area in Illinois. And they have created this workspace for refugee women to create these wonderful products. So they do some of their own type of designs, but then you can contract with them as well. So anyway, I can share that.
Awesome, thank
with
you. I would love that contact.
Just to springboard off what Joe said before there's another question, client testimonials. It's so great to hear someone like Joe say, this works for my son, he was preemie, and it's growing with him. So do you have maybe some testimonials to share with us this morning of happy customers?
Yeah. All my customers they love them. So I have one family, they have a child with a limb difference. So I have modified all her rompers. The left leg is short for her left leg, and the right one is long. And so they are always so thankful for that. I have another customer as well who has bought so many. Her closets are probably full. And her daughter is immobile. She can't move. So the ease of being able to get these on with the zipper. And her daughter is one that, if her skin is exposed, she scratches herself till she bleeds. And so she loves the romper. aspect because she can't get to any area of her body to scratch it.
Question in the back.
Well, and I heard you talk about the durable medical equipment and things. I work in the medical field also. That portion might be a stretch, but it'd be an interesting thing if you were the first to try to overcome that. But maybe consider in talking to somebody about becoming a nonprofit, because nonprofits open you up to grants that would afford that opportunity, or even having one side for profit versus nonprofit on the other side. Also, I know you mentioned the sizes for kids. Have you ever thought about the elder area?
Yes.
Because when the memory care people, some of the things that you just mentioned in your success stories, they also are challenged by that as well. And anything that can help them thrive on life becomes significant. Just wanted to kind of mention those things. Also, there was, I don't know if it still exists. I can do the checking for you and get you my name. But Hope Incorporated was something out of Grand Forks. An engineer started developing equipment outside of the norm of the one-size-fits-all wheelchairs, those type of things, and actually got a pretty good niche going years ago. I can check in on it for you, though.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, I do plan to expand my sizing into teens and adults, hopefully within the next 5 years. That comes, especially with adult sizes, there's a lot to think about when creating clothing for those particular sizes. So I'm going to have to do a lot of my own creations up from patterns, like taking patterns and recreating them, basically. So, yeah, hopefully within the next 5 years, that is on my site.
Go ahead.
All right, a lot of stuff here. This is great. It's a beautiful mission and an incredible product. I mean, if Joe gets behind it, it's got to be good. It does. He's a hard critic. A couple things. One, a question about your capacity. It seems like you've sort of hit capacity. It doesn't seem like you've got a ton of these laying around. It seems like as soon as you make them, you've either already have the client who's purchased them, and so when it comes to capacity, I think that's going to be a real challenge. And so even if you were to get in investors, they may be able to help you with the capacity, but like you'd said, they're concerned about the price point. Yep. And so when it comes to increasing your price point, I think being able to articulate the benefits, so testimonials articulate the real value of this. What are the benefits? What are the advantages? Capacity, something interesting is, the gal who did Bison Booties ended up creating a network of moms around the country to help her make them. Yeah. That's another option. I do like the manufacturing, sort of the niche manufacturing in Illinois was an interesting idea. Another one is possibly networking. So if you want to get in contact with Erica, let me know. But then I think after that, strategic partnerships, connecting with therapy clinics around town hospitals, that I don't even think will be your challenge. I think people will be very open to this, but it's like, okay, how do you then fill the demand that they now have? And so I'd be very careful not to go, because everyone's going to be demanding, and then you're going to be really overwhelmed, and then you and Jackie are going to have to start having sessions. So
yes.
Maybe just some of your ideas on capacity, and I think price is getting some of the other marketing gurus. Your price is a matter of properly articulating the value.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So maybe some of your ideas on capacity. Yeah. Where's your mind with that? What are you open to letting go of control on?
Yes. So capacity-wise, so I've spent this last year, I guess, trying to build an inventory, because I did want to do shows. I did want to do other things where I'm like, I have to have inventory for it, because before it was basically everything that I'd sew up, I'd put it on the website, and 75% of it would get sold within an hour. And I had been holding off a lot on doing a ton of marketing, because I'm like, I don't want to grow too big for my britches type thing, I didn't want to have a point where I couldn't keep up with the demand, because I've seen lots of small businesses kind of go under when they do that because they can't keep up and customers get angry and all that stuff. But so I'm trying to, I guess, navigate at that area of, okay, I'm kind of at my max. What's my next step? And then the marketing that goes in with all that, because I'm learning it as I go. But yes, thank you.
Evan in the front.
Probably a bit of a follow-up to Mike's comments. It appears at least that the benefits that he's talking that you need to articulate, and that's going to help, move a lot of this. It appears that you've kind of got a set of features that aren't readily available out there. So maybe if you could talk a little bit to, what others are doing. Clothing is a really busy place in the world, and so to jump into a clothing market would terrify me. But I'm kind of excited about this because it appears you've kind of found a niche there.
Yeah.
And if you can really kind of maintain that niche, there's probably some really fantastic opportunities. So I guess I'm just interested in what really makes you unique in what else is out there, whether it's boutique-y stuff or even more mainstream, because I think that's going to have a lot to do with your ability to really go places with that.
Yeah. So before I even came out with this pocket, people were like, you need to, what is it? Not brand it. Patent it. Thank you. Thank you for the word. And I'm like, what? And then like a week later, someone sent me a message. They're like, look at this. And it was Target. They had a pocket similar. And which is great. I love that they had it and that they made it available. And they actually had some in stores. And eventually they started taking it out of the stores. And I'm like, why would you do that? I mean, I get that there might not be as big of a need for it as regular shirts, regular pants, all that stuff. But the need is definitely there. And so, yeah, I hope that, I don't know how to get the word out there, but there is a need for it. Definitely. Yes.
First, Kate Herzog says hi.
Hi.
She can't be here today, but she's not feeling well, but she is watching at home.
Hi.
Anyhow, can you talk a little bit like how you sourced or came to the decision what fabrics you're going to use? Because this is a beautiful fabric that you have here. So this is not just let's go to a major retailer and grab up whatever on a bolt.
Yes.
This is super thought out.
Yes.
And also, if you want to go back in your slides to some of your designs, I think what else is really exciting is that you have so many different tops that are obviously, different necklines. So if you go to the maybe
that one?
or to where the rainbow of kids is. Go forward, maybe next one. There you go.
Oh, right there. Yeah.
So you can just for people that are watching or listening or or in the audience, this is very thought out in design as well. Where you have some that are more romper, like overall types with the straps on top or the crisscross. There's all these different things that you obviously have thought out to make them more accessible and inclusive. So can you talk a little bit about fabric and design?
Yes. So fabrics, I am very aware of the fabric choices that I pick. A lot of the kids that I make these for have heightened senses. I'll say it that way. And as I do. So I like to make sure that everything is soft, non-scratchy, even to the cinches, like the way that I put them in, the choice to have the nylon versus a string or a cord or anything, all that comes from thinking about those kids. So I forgot to show it during the presentation, but so the zipper, even thinking of that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like rubbing against their legs, I need something. So I put this little guard right here that protects their legs from getting chafed or anything from I also have a little pocket right here that you put the zipper in so that kids can't access it and open it up when you don't want them to. Now, for the kids that are like potty trained, sure, go ahead, open that thing up. But so everything does have a thought process behind it and a purpose for why I choose the particular fabrics that I do. So, and in doing that, there's that increased cost because it's not your run-of-the-mill scratchy cotton, you know. So I try and keep fabrics around $10 a yard, but sometimes it gets to be a little more, and sometimes I can find a great deal and get it for less. But I do have different fabric shops that I shop through to find what I need for the collections that I think about and all that. And I have printed fabric, like custom printed them as well, but that can get costly too. As for the designs, I'm showing two here, and I have another one. So some families love the crisscross with the hood, and other families don't. For the kids that are immobile and like are laying, the hood gets bunched up. So then I also have ones with the crisscross, but with just a collar. I also have the overall type, and I make those with shorts or pant length. And again, it's just another option. You can put shirts under it when it gets cold, all that stuff. And then I do have like that regular neckline style. So I vary my collections and do different styles for each collection so that everyone feels like they are getting what they need.
Evan again.
Well, I've got one on Facebook, but I also, just having you explain some of that, I'm curious about how long does it take to make something like that? I'm an engineer, I build things every day, and that would take me like 11 months if I worked every single day.
So I've gotten it down to about 45 minutes per romper.
What?
Yeah. I do it assembly line style. I have a huge table that I cut up to about 5 layers of fabric at one time. I cut it, and then per size, I'll just start sewing, do one section on each, assembly line style. But yeah, it's about 45 minutes, maybe an hour per romper, and that's if my kids aren't home. Otherwise, it takes a bit longer.
Okay, the question online, have you thought about selling to local retailers or selling through local retailers?
I have. In the past, I haven't been able to because I didn't have the inventory to do it or the capacity to do it. So last year I moved back home from Washington. That's where I was before this. And I'm kind of in a better situation now where I would be able to possibly. I have had a custom request through a nonprofit. I can't pronounce the name of it because it's a really long, medical name. But twice now they've had me make pajamas for their nonprofit with their custom printed fabric and everything. And the first time they had me make 100 of them, the second time 200.
Holy moly.
Wow. And I got that done in about 6 months it took with the kids. So, but yes, I think if the opportunity presented itself, I could do it. But yeah.
All right. So no entrepreneur is an island. And I get a feeling you feel a little alone and hanging out there and swinging in the breeze.
Yeah.
So some of it's going to be comments, some is going to be a question. When we got started, one, we had each other, and two, we actually had, through our local SBDC, we took some classes on writing a business plan and just thinking about your business. And then we also, as a result of that, ended up hiring a business coach. Just for a period of about a year. It wasn't expensive. She held our toes to the fire. We thought through what our next steps were. Because I'm also hearing from you, what do I do next? What is that next? She really helped us with what is the logical sequence of events that needed to happen for our business. And then she made us prioritize those things. And then she held us accountable. And we would get together once a month. So I share that because have you looked around, whether it's through a group like SBDC that exists to support entrepreneurs, or whether it's just getting with other entrepreneurs, because everyone will have advice for you, but some advice like Shark Tank and patenting in the wrong sequence are not good advice. So we need to help you build your network of people who have been down the road before you that can give you good advice and help you with that sequence of events. So what have you done so far, either from a networking or going to folks who do this for a living?
Okay.
That was a lot.
No, I got it. So I have hired a coach in the past, twice actually, and both times they took my money and ran. So that really made me okay, I guess I'm gonna do this on my own. They were online type things, other small business entrepreneurs. And I was I was cautious, and then I would talk to other people. I'm in so many Facebook groups for small businesses. It's kind of a lot. But so then people would be like, oh, they're so great, they've helped me. So I was like, okay, cool. Thanks for taking my money. I've lost a lot of money, even in the manufacturing side. I had someone who's going to do tech packs for me. She took my samples and my money and didn't do anything. So so it makes me really leery, but I think if there was a physical type thing, local thing, then I would probably consider it again. But yeah, no longer will I do the online, oh, let me help you thing. No. No. Yes, that's why I'm here. Yeah. Yes. But I did, for the Vegas conference that I went to, I had met up with another local small shop mom there, and she makes toys and stuff, so she was trying to find someone, and yeah. She's helped me a lot, but she's been busy with life.
Another question in the back.
Okay, so great presentation. You did fantastic. I have a lot more comments now than what I originally had in my one very simple question. But this gentleman here, I think, hit on a thing. I don't know the story very well, but I know this much of it. I would get in touch with the lady with Bison Booties because of how they networked with that and what they did. And it is a very well-known brand outside of even North Dakota. So if it were me, I would want to get mentorship from them.
Yeah.
Second, local, definitely. Especially in this state and in this business, I would say there's probably about 5 people going I could maybe help her a little bit with this and that. I mean, I know this guy works at a bank, and I just met him today. So just, plug for Brevera over there. You're welcome, Mike. So you have a lot of support in this room already, even though you don't know any of us, okay? Second, here's my big comment about the online mentoring thing, and I am so sorry that you lost money. And this is one thing that I have learned that from my mentor of business deals and everything, that's college. I can almost guarantee, all right, here, let's do this. Little fun game. Question for the whole class. Raise your hand if you got burned or lost money in any kind of business dealing. Keep it up if it was over $1,000.
Oh, thankfully not.
Okay? So like some of those hands could stay up for a while. We won't do that. Okay? We won't do that. Okay? So is what I was taught was, yes, you can be like, don't get too Debbie Downed about it. Be like, did you learn a lesson? And like, you just audited a college class because experience will, in my opinion, beat out of a degree. But I say that as a college dropout and run a business for 12 years. So now my question is about the value. You've said you've made a whole bunch of inventory and you sell out 75% of it within an hour. So one, my question is, and you don't need to answer, but it's like, okay, how much do you charge on your website? Is that the same as what you charge? Like if I just call you up and be like, hey, I need this size for my kid, give you all the details of what I need. And because I very much understand the affordability, which you mentioned scholarships, which I think I like because you could use your customers that don't have those special needs to help fund the kids with special needs. You know, like I think of any time you go anywhere, would you like to donate $1 to, XYZ Foundation? And so there's that. So my question though, how many of your customers have said you don't charge enough? Because if you're hearing that from your customers, I would guarantee you're not. If you're selling out 75% in an hour, because your time is valuable.
Yeah.
And I understand where it'd be affordable, and you got to find that middle ground. But yeah. So have you ever heard your customer say your product's worth X much more?
No. No. So I'll say with that, so this year has been really hard for my business, as I know it has been for many others. So this year, I haven't sold the 75% that I usually do in previous years. And then especially with this last collection where I raised the price, I didn't sell anything, which was a huge, like it was already a hard year. And fall is typically my biggest seller. So when I didn't sell anything, I was like, okay, have I pushed that envelope too much? I don't know.
Just a little bit of a springboard off that, though, and it kind of goes back to some of the points Evan and Johnny have made when Evan's like, how long does that take you? And we've talked so much about marketing and social media, and when you said, maybe just the post like, hey, everyone, new collection drop, maybe it's not worth your time. But in the age of TikTok, I was thinking, if you had a friend that could do a video, what fun to watch you do the assembly line. Because all of our eyes, when you said 45 minutes, like, what? The worst grade I ever got, 7th grade, tried to sew a pillow. Wow. Can't sew. And that's a big deal. I would bet, okay, right now, who can sew out here? Who could honestly, oh, you show-offs. No, I'm kidding. That's awesome. I'm saying past a button. Yeah, that's an amazing skill. And I bet so many people in our TikTok society, I want it now, I order on Amazon, they would have no idea. So I was just thinking of some videos where you would show that little zipper is not gonna rub. If a kiddo has sensory issues, that's a big deal. Where you'd show, how it's in the inside. You'd walk through how they can potty train. Where moms with, kiddos who don't have special needs would be like, hey, that's awesome, and it grows with them. Who all doesn't like cleaning out their kids' closets? What feels like constantly, they're always growing, they're always eating. So it's like, hey, you could make these videos maybe, and I feel like it goes to some of Mike's points and some of the other ones too about, the price point. I think when people see that value and they see this as a small business because I know personally, I whatever you would tell me right now, I'd be like, oh, absolutely, I would pay for that. That's an amazing value. It supports a small business. It supports kids with disability, awesome. But maybe some people would need to see that, and maybe seeing that could really help add that value and help add that price past the testimonials as well. Just kind of a random thought. Question back there.
Yeah, I have a question for you. In listening to you talk, you've got a great product here. There's no doubt about it. You have a great background story. I don't think you need a lot of help from a lot of people on the marketing side. Spend some time, Learn the social media stuff. You will blow it up. That's the first thing. The second thing, and this is the tough question, having been in the VC world, been an entrepreneur, sold businesses, the real question I have for you is this: is this a hobby or is this a business? And the reason I ask that, you're teaching at home, you're homeschooling your kids, fantastic. You've got another job, right? And you're doing this job. So the real question, as I look at from a VC point, are you in or are you out? So that's a tough question because you have something pretty cool here. And to make this go to the next step, you have to be all in. And that's going to be a tough choice. So just curiosity, is it a hobby or is it a business?
It started out as a hobby, but it's not. It's grown to be my passion, my business, what I want. I only started this other job within a couple months because I'm now the sole provider for my kids, type thing. And I need the funds, I need money to pay my rent and stuff. And at this point, this business does not do that for me. So thankfully, I work night shift for my business, and I do this during the day. But, and then when I don't have my kids, when they're with their dad, then I focus solely on creating, setting up my social media posts, sewing for hours and hours and hours and hours, everything, finding art shows, craft shows, holiday events, this, everything, trying to find ways to make it what I need it to be.
We have time for one last question before the final question.
Can I have it?
It's all you.
Okay. One, I want to clarify, I was told to remind you that when they were talking about SBDC, it is the Small Business Development Center, in case you needed an acronym.
Thank you.
Okay, kind of two things. One, I think this is wonderful, and it is the answer to fast fashion, which I'm trying to get over. My dad always complains when he was a kid and his mom would let down his pants so they'd be longer, but and I'm trying to consume less, and I love this idea. Especially that it can grow and expand with you. Even for me, there's nothing more frustrating when you put on your favorite pair of pants and you're like, I guess not now. Holidays coming up, if you could get that expander the other way, I would be your best friend. And whenever I go camping, it's always raining, and I don't ever want to take my pants off. That zipper, it would save my life. And everyone else in the tent. I'm just kidding. Okay. Anyway, so when I was in middle school, I have a twin sister, and she had scoliosis pretty bad, and she had a very big brace. And underneath the brace, she had to wear this kind of tunic thing. We called her Dobby the house elf because it looked like a weird pillowcase. And then it was this huge plastic thing, and we tried stickers, and she was like a walking trapper keeper, but she couldn't go to the bathroom by herself. It was really hard to get in and out, and everybody knew. She just wore big T-shirts, and she's a small kid. And I think it would have meant everything to her to have had something that was adaptive that still looked cute. Your confidence is already really low at that point. So what does it, obviously a lot of your clients are little kids, but what does it mean to them to have something that also looks like what everybody else is wearing, even if it's a little bit more adaptive for their needs?
So far, that's one of the biggest things. One of the comments that I get a lot, that they love that, the fabrics that I choose, the prints that I choose, it all is thought out, especially because I do have, actually my biggest sizes are my biggest seller, which I never thought when I first started. I thought I barely sell infant sizes. Haven't for years. But I still make them, just in case. But yeah, my biggest sizes are my biggest seller. Because they love like you said, having something adaptive that looks cute. That's not huge, baggy, doesn't have holes cut in it, that's all jagged edges, just trying to get what they need. And so everything I do has a very specific thought process with all of them in mind for that reason.
Thank you. Okay, are you ready? We always have one last question here at 1 Million Cups. What can we, as the BizMan community, help you to succeed?
I guess you guys already have. I mean, getting me those contacts for, marketing plans, for training, anything like that. Just helping me with that next step of what should I do next, I guess, is the biggest thing. Because I know there's a lot of avenues I could take, but I don't know the best one at this point. And most cost effective.
Well, I think we've all felt a lot of passion. Seriously, this was one of the most fun 1 Million Cups I've had in a long time, because I think there's like this collective, just heartfelt, we want you to do this, Chantel. You've grown this so far beyond you to so many families that need you. And I think there's two like really awesome people that could help out a lot, that do a lot of mentoring. Because I agree, it's like everything's there. Maybe you just need that teeny tweak and you take off. So what a joy to have you, Chantel Kuntz. Everybody support her on social media. Thanks for coming today. And I think we got something coming up next week. I can't see. Bismarck Mandan Chamber, EDC and Impact Dakota, reduction and a holiday break. See you next time.
Thank you. Yay.
Just grab your mic. Awesome.
Here's that.
I got it. I can deliver.
Oh, and you can just send I can take your tag? Thank you so much. Oh, Ross, thank you. Oh my gosh, I was just getting ready.